is tibia. Tibia is a long bone. It is the second longest bone of our body. If we see the skeleton of the leg, we will find two bones lying side by side. Medially lying bone is the tibia and the laterally lying one is the fibula. You see, tibia is a massive bone because it takes part in transmission of body weight. So, what is the type of this bone? Tibia is an example of long bone. Now let us know what are the parts of this bone. Like those of long bones, tibia has got an upper end, a lower end and an intervening shaft or body. This is the upper end, this is the lower end and this is the shaft or body. Now let us know the features present in the different parts. So this one is the upper end. Upper end of tibia consists of two condyles. These are the two condyles. This one is the medial condyle and this one is the lateral condyle. Medially lying condyle is the medial condyle, laterally lying condyle is the lateral condyle. See, this medial condyle is somewhat oval in shape and larger than the lateral condyle, which is somewhat circular in shape. So this one is the medial condyle. Medial condyle has got superior surface, anterior surface, medial surface and lateral surface. In between these two condyles, this area is called intercondylar area between the medial and the lateral condyles. You see, in the middle there is an eminence which is called intercondylar eminence. Now let us talk about the medial condyle. You see, the superior surface of the medial condyle, it articulates with the corresponding tibial articular surface of the medial condyle of the humerus. Femur. Thereby, formation of a joint occurs here. This is the medial portion of the femorotibial part of the knee joint. You see, the posterior surface, there is an important feature present in the posterior surface. In the posterior surface, there is a transverse groove which provides insertion for semimembranosus. You see, this groove is for the insertion of the semimembranosus. Now, let us talk about the lateral condyle of the tibia. You see, at the anterior surface of the lateral condyle, there is an area where iliotibial tract gets inserted. Iliotibial tract gets inserted in the area in front or at the anterior surface of the lateral condyle. In the posterior surface, there is a groove which provides for the passage of the tendon of popliteus. In the inferolateral part, there is a facet which articulates with the head of the fibula. Thereby, formation of a joint occurs. The name of the joint is superior tibio-fibular joint. See, both the anterior surface of medial and lateral condyles, they descend anteriorly to form a tuberosity, which is called tibial tuberosity or tubercle of the tibia. Now, let us talk about the shaft or body. You see, this is the shaft or body. Shaft is provided with three borders. This is the anterior border. You see, this border is the lateral border or the interosseous border, and this border is the medial border. Anterior border starts from the tibial tuberosity, descends downwards. In the lower part, it deviates and becomes in line with the anterior margin of the medial malleolus. So, this is the outline of the anterior border. You see, this one is the interosseous border. Interosseous border is a sharp one, which interosseous border is a sharp one. It starts from the impression where iliotibial tract gets attached downwards, and it becomes in line with the anterior margin of the triangular notch or fibular notch present in the lower part. This one is the medial border. Medial border, you see, medial border starts from below the transverse groove, and it becomes continuous with the posterior margin of the medial malleolus. This one is the lower part. Okay, I am coming to the lower part later on. Let me talk about the surface present in the shaft. Shaft is provided with three surfaces. One is the medial surface, which intervenes between the anterior and the medial border. One is the lateral surface, which intervenes between the anterior and the interosseous or lateral border. And the third one is the posterior surface, which intervenes between the lateral or interosseous border and the medial border. So, shaft is provided with three borders, namely anterior border, lateral border or interosseous border, medial border, and three surfaces: medial surface, lateral surface, and the posterior surface. You see, the posterior surface, in the upper part of the posterior surface, you will see one oblique line, which starts above from the fibular facet, descends obliquely and cuts the medial border. This is the soleal line. The area above the soleal line is called the popliteal surface because it forms the lower part of the popliteal fossa. The area below the soleal line, see, one vertical line descends from the middle of the soleal line. It divides the posterior surface into two areas, an area lateral to the vertical line and an area medial to the vertical line. Now we will come to the lower end of the tibia. Lower end has got anterior surface, posterior surface, lateral surface. In the lateral surface we will find a notch. This is called fibular notch. This is the medial surface. In the medial surface we will find the medial malleolus, and this is the inferior surface. Now we will learn about the attachments. Now we will talk about the attachment in relation to the bone tibium. First I will talk about the attachment of the capsular ligament in the upper part. Capsular ligament is attached along the margin of the articular surface, excluding the groove for the semimembranosus, and a part on the back of the lateral condyle for the passage of the tendon of popliteus. Attachment of capsular ligament in front descends on each side of the tibial tuberosity. So this is how the capsular ligament is attached. It will exclude here the semimembranosus attachment. It will exclude here the attachment or passage of popliteus in front by the side of the tibial tuberosity. They will descend. Now this is the anterior intercondylar area. At the anterior intercondylar area, from anterior to posterior, we will find anterior end of the medial semilunar cartilage, thereafter anterior cruciate ligament, thereafter anterior end of the lateral semilunar cartilage. At the posterior intercondylar area, we will find posterior end of the lateral semilunar cartilage, thereafter posterior end of the medial semilunar cartilage, thereafter posterior cruciate ligament. All these relations are from anterior to posterior. Now at the tibial tuberosity, we will find ligamentum patelli to be attached here. At the oval facet on the lateral condyle, iliotibial tract will be found to be attached. Now we will appreciate the attachment at the body. Anterior border provides attachment for the deep fascia of the leg in the upper part. The lower part provides attachment for the superior extensor retinaculum. The lateral or interosseous border will provide attachment for interosseous membrane. Actually, interosseous membrane, it connects the tibia with the fibula at both interosseous borders through interosseous membrane. Now, we will appreciate the attachment at the medial border. This is the soleal line. Above the soleal line, medial border provides attachment for the superficial part of the medial ligament of the knee joint and fascia covering the popliteus. Below the soleal line, medial border provides attachment for the deep fascia of the leg, origin of the soleus in the middle third of this border, and deep transverse fascia of leg. See, this one is the lateral surface. Lateral surface actually is monopolized by the origin of a muscle. The name of the muscle is tibialis anterior. Actually, tibialis anterior takes origin from the upper two-thirds of the lateral surface. This one is the medial surface. Medial surface mostly is subcutaneous. The upper part of the medial surface provides attachment from before backwards of the following muscles. First muscle is the sartorius, insertion of sartorius. After sartorius, next is the gracilis. After gracilis, insertion of semitendinosus. So, in the upper part of the medial surface from before backwards, sartorius, gracilis and semitendinosus will be inserted. Lower part of the medial surface is subcutaneous. Here lies great saphenous vein and saphenous nerve. Actually, the saphenous nerve lies anterior to the vein. At the posterior surface, in the popliteal surface, that means above the soleal line, this area provides insertion for the muscle popliteus. This is the soleal line. The soleal line from above downwards provides attachment for the muscle popliteus, fascia covering the popliteus, origin of soleus which extends to the middle one-third of the medial border. Deep transverse fascia is also attached to the soleal line. Below the soleal line, the posterior surface, lateral to the vertical line, the area of the posterior surface provides origin to the tibialis posterior muscle. The area medial to the vertical line provides attachment to the muscle flexor digitorum longus. Now, at the lower end, anterior surface of the lower end from medial to lateral provides attachment to tibialis anterior, extensor hallucis longus, anterior tibial artery with vena comitantis, deep peroneal nerve, 4 tendons of extensor digitorum longus and peroneus tarsius. Posterior surface from medial to lateral provides attachment for tibialis posterior, flexor digitorum longus, posterior tibial artery with vena comitatus, tibial nerve, flexor hallucis longus. Lower surface, along with the lower surface of the fibula, forms the tibiofibular motis, which articulates with the superior surface of the talus and form the ankle joint. Lateral surface of the lower end, it articulates with the facet present in the fibula and form the inferior tibiofibular joint. Medial surface of the lower end presents medial malleolus. This one is the medial malleolus. In front of the medial malleolus, we will find tendon of tibialis anterior, and behind we will find tendon of tibialis posterior. At the lower margin of the medial malleolus, deltoid ligament is found to be attached. Now, side determination. How to determine the side? Upper end, which is broad and is provided with two condyles. Anterior, posterior. Anteriorly, there is presence of tibial tuberosity. Lateral and medial, medial malleolus is present on the medial side. So, this bone must be of right side. Now, the ossification. Tibia ossifies from one primary center. Shaft of tibia ossifies from one primary center which appears at 7th week of intrauterine life. Secondary center for the upper epiphysis appears shortly before or after birth, and it unites with the shaft at 15 to 16 years of age. Secondary center for the lower epiphysis appears at second year, and it unites with the shaft at 15 to 16 years. 15 to 16 years.